There is a moment in the middle of Pixar's The Incredibles that completely destroys you when you watch it as an adult. Helen Parr, a mother of 3, finds the platinum blonde hair on her husband's suit. A few moments later, she overhears him on the phone, secretly whispering to a woman, confirming a sudden business trip. Helen comes to the exact same conclusion that any spouse would in the real world. Her husband is having an affair. But the truth of what is actually happening in this movie is so much darker and so much sadder than a simple physical affair. Bob Parr isn't cheating on Helen with another woman. He's cheating on her with a ghost. He's having an affair with his own past. Welcome to the deep dive. To understand why this marriage is falling apart, we have to define what an emotional affair actually is. In psychology, infidelity isn't just about physical intimacy. Emotional infidelity happens when you start giving the best, most passionate, most alive version of yourself to something outside of your relationship, while giving your partner the exhausted, empty leftovers. Look at Bob's behavior at the beginning of the movie. When he comes home from his job as insurance care, he looks like a zombie. He sits at the dinner table and literally builds a wall between himself and his family using a newspaper. Helen is desperately trying to connect with him. She asks him to help cut Dash's steak. She tries to talk to him about their son getting sent to the principal's office. And how does Bob respond?
They caught you on tape and you still got away with it? Whoa, you must have been booking. How fast do you think you were
Helen has to scold him.
going?
We are not encouraging this.
Bob is physically sitting at the table, but psychologically, he left this house years ago. He's completely checked out. But here's the cruelest part. Bob isn't actually a zombie. He still has passion. He still has energy. He's just choosing to spend it somewhere else. Look at Bob when he's sitting in the parked car with Lucius. When the police scanner goes off, Bob's entire posture changes. He leans forward. His eyes light up.
A fire. We're close. Yeah, baby!
This is the emotional betrayal. Bob is giving all of his focus and all of his excitement and all of his joy to his secret life as a vigilante. He's chasing the high of his glory days. He thinks it's harmless because he isn't hurting anyone. He tells himself, I'm just protecting people. But what he doesn't realize is that by pouring all of his emotional currency into the past, he's actively bankrupting his present. Helen can feel the distance. She knows her husband is deeply passionate. She just knows he isn't passionate about her anymore. If we're going to hold Bob accountable, we have to look at the immense crushing sacrifice of Helen Parr. Listen to her exact words from the opening interview of the film.
Settle down, are you kidding? I'm at the top of my game. I'm right up there with the big dogs. Girls, come on. Leave the saving of the world to the men?
Helen was a feminist icon. She was an independent god-tier superhero who actively mocked the idea of settling down. Fast forward 15 years. Where is the legendary Elastigirl? She's bathing a baby in a kitchen sink. She's unpacking moving boxes. She's doing laundry. Helen has become the default parent. The default parent is the one who carries the mental load. They are the one who remembers the doctor's appointments, enforces the rules, and manages the constant low-level emergency of keeping children alive. Because Bob has checked out to go daydream about being Mr. Incredible, Helen is forced to carry the weight of 5 people. The movie visualizes this perfectly. She literally has to stretch her body across the room to hold the family together. But the deepest psychological wound for Helen is that she's forced to play the bad cop. Bob gets to live in a fantasy world. He tells Helen she should let Dash compete in sports. He screams,
Because it'd be great!
Bob gets to sound like the fond supportive dad, which forces Helen to be the villain. Helen stretches her neck and screams back,
I will not be made the enemy here. You know why we can't do that. It's not about you!
Helen knows that if Dash reveals his powers, the government will arrest them and they will lose their home. She's sacrificing her own desire to see her son succeed just to keep him safe. And instead of supporting her, her husband undermines her. Helen didn't just lose her superhero identity, she lost her partner. She's fighting a war for her family's survival, and she's fighting it entirely alone. This emotional disconnect at home makes Bob the perfect, easy target for a psychological predator. When Syndrome wants to trap Bob, he doesn't send an army, but he sends Mirage. And what does Mirage do? She gives Bob the one thing his wife can no longer give him: blind validation. Listen to the conversation at the dinner table on the island.
Why live?
With a volcano, he's attracted to power. So am I. It's a weakness we share.
Mirage validates Bob's ego. She treats him like a god. She makes him feel like he's still the center of the universe. And look at the horrific side effect of this secret mission. When Bob starts working for Mirage, he starts making money. He buys a new sports car. He loses weight. He comes home and kisses Helen. At first glance, this looks like a good thing. Bob is finally happy. But from a psychological standpoint, this is actually the cruelest part of the entire movie. Helen sees her husband finally coming back to life. She tells him,
See? They're finally recognizing your talents. You're moving up.
Yes.
Honey.
Helen thinks that her love and their normal life is finally making him happy. But the audience knows the truth. Bob isn't happy because of his family. He's happy because he found a way to secretly be a god again. He's funding his good mood with a lie. He proves that he knows how to be a good, present father. He just wasn't willing to do it unless his ego was being stroked by a secret agent on a private island. Secrets always demand a toll, and eventually the bill comes due. Helen discovers the repaired supersuit. She finds the tracking device. She calls InsureCare and discovers that Bob was fired 2 months ago. Everything clicks into place. The new car, the weight loss, the blonde hair and the jacket, the mysterious conferences. Her husband has been living a complete lie. She breaks down crying.
Now I'm losing him. What do I do?
Edna slaps her with a newspaper.
You are Elastigirl! My God, pull yourself together! Let's go, confront the problem, fight, win!
This sets up the most profound definition of love in animation history. If it was a normal movie, Helen would file for divorce by every available metric. Bob has betrayed her. He lied to her face, endangered their family, and spent their savings. But what does Helen do? She borrows a jet, she puts on her suit, and she flies into the unknown. She doesn't do it to catch him. She doesn't do it to yell at him. She does it because she's making a conscious, agonizing decision to choose him. In modern society, we treat love like a feeling. We think love is the butterflies in your stomach when you first meet. But The Incredibles argues that true love is an action. True love is looking at a partner who has lied to you, who has failed you, and who's currently at their absolute worst, and choosing to fly into a war zone to pull them out of the fire anyway. Helen has absolutely no proof that Bob still deserves her, but she chooses him anyway. And her reward for disloyalty? Her jet is shut down. She's forced to wrap her own body around her children as the plane explodes in mid-air. Bob's obsession with his past didn't just hurt his marriage. It literally brought missiles down on the heads of his children. When Helen finally infiltrates the base and finds Bob, all of the emotional tension of the last 15 years finally boils over. Bob thinks his family is dead. He's completely broken. When Helen releases him, he grabs her and kisses her.
How could I betray the perfect woman?
But Helen isn't letting him off the hook that easily.
Oh, you're referring to me now?
The reunion is cut short. The guards attack. They escape into the jungle. But then, the Omnidroid attacks the city. This is the psychological climax of the film. Bob turns to his wife and says,
Wait here and stay hidden. I'm going in.
He's doing it again. The exact same toxic trait that started this whole mess. I work alone. Helen grabs his shoulder and spins him around.
What is this to you, playtime?
No.
So you can be Mr. Incredible again?
No!
Then what? What is it?
Helen demands to know why he's pushing them away. And finally, after 15 years of masking, 15 years of pretending to be an invincible god, Bob Parr drops the ego. He looks at the woman he almost got killed, and he confesses his deepest, darkest fear.
This is some sort of workout?
I can't lose you again! Not again. I'm nuts.
I believe this is the moment when the marriage is saved. For his entire life, Bob thought that being a good man and being a hero meant being a wall of pure muscle. He thought that needing people was a liability. He thought vulnerability was weakness. But kneeling in the street, he admits the truth. He's terrified. He is utterly dependent on his family. His strength means absolutely nothing if he has to live in a world without them. He doesn't want to fight Robot to get his glory back. He wants to fight Robot because he's terrified of his family getting hurt. Helen looks at him. She sees that the arrogant Mr. Incredible is gone and her husband is finally back. The final battle of The Incredibles isn't about defeating a villain. It is about a family finally learning how to communicate. They pass the remote control back and forth. Helen uses her flexibility to create traps. Bob uses his strength. Dash uses his speed. Violet uses her shields to protect them. They aren't suppressing their identities anymore, but they aren't fighting for individual glory either. They have achieved integration. When the fight is over, Bob doesn't look at the cheering crowd. He looks at his wife.
This is my fault. I've been a lousy father, blind to what I have, so obsessed with being undervalued that I undervalued all of you.
What do you think? Did Bob deserve Helen's forgiveness, or did he get off too easy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If this video changed the way you look at a childhood classic, please hit that subscribe button. We unpack the dark psychology and hidden trauma of your favorite movies every single week. I'll see you in the next one.